Good morning, dear students. A warm welcome to all of you for our today's digital session for the subject Science and Technology Section A. Welcome to you after your third online assessment. Today, we are going to start with the chapter Space Missions. We are going to explore the space today. So, let us begin with a chapter related to space. Chapter number 10 Space Missions. Topics which we are going to cover today are need and importance of space missions and artificial satellite. So, let us first get an introduction about what is meant by space mission and then begin with the need and importance of this space missions. Now, when you come to know about or when you hear about the word space, you remember some of our astronauts. You remember Rakesh Sharma, who was the first Indian to travel to space. You will never forget Kalpana Chawla, who had obtained her engineering in aeronautics degree from Punjab. And then, while returning to the earth from the space on 1st of February 2003, the Columbia spacecraft, it exploded and Kalpana Chawla perished. Then we also remember the name about Sunita Williams, who traveled to the International Space Station in Space Shuttle Discovery in 2006. So, a dedicated work, a dedication of all these different astronauts has made us to obtain a great amount of knowledge about the space. Substantial developments in technology, especially space technology in the later half of the 20th century, it resulted in the development of spacecrafts making space voyage. Voyage means, traveling to the space possible for us. Today, more than thousands of artificial satellites have been placed into the orbits. They are revolving around the Earth. Additionally, space missions have been undertaken for close observation of various objects which are there in our solar system. It is classified into two different categories. When you talk about the space missions, they are classified into two different classes. In one type of mission, the objective is to put the artificial satellites in the orbits. You have heard about the space mission Chandrayaan. So, it is the first type of mission. In this mission, the artificial satellite is made to orbit around the Earth for the research and various other useful applications. And main important is the second type of mission. In the second type of mission, it is to send the spacecrafts, means actually the human beings, to the outer space for close observations and understanding of the objects in the solar system or outside the solar system. Next, very important is why the need arises or what is the importance of these space missions. Today, you know that our world has become a global village due to space missions. What do you understand by the first statement? The world has become a global village. Means you are connected with each and every part of the world. You are connected with each and every part of the world via internet. Now, sitting in one corner of the country, sitting in one part of the world, you can talk with the people in different countries. We have different types of technologies connected to it. We have Skype system, we have WhatsApp, we have Facebook, we can talk. So all this is possible. This world has become a global village and all this is possible due to space missions. Today, we can contact a person in any part of the world within a second. We can gather information about worldwide events sitting at home. A very good example is about any cricket match. A live cricket match, you can sit at home and you can watch it. Whatever is going in other part of the country, through various type of mass media or news, you can gather the information about it. Due to internet, every information is available at our fingertips. This all of you know, no need of telling you. In this critical stage of COVID-19, via the internet, many of your parents are working, sitting at home. Many of the people are working in multinational companies. They are connected with different offices in different parts of the countries via the internet service. And in today's critical situation of corona, this internet service, this mobiles, they have become the heart. This technology has become the heart of today's survival. So this is all a good effect of space missions. Think, if today internet or mobile facility would not have been available, what would be our condition? It has become possible to get an advance alert about the natural calamities and take proper precautions against it. Then during a war, you can see that it is possible to get the information about the actions of the enemy through aerial surveillance. Aerial surveillance means through the air, using the satellites to explore the fossil reserves and the minerals in the earth's surface. Means, in simple words, you can say that today's space technology is an inevitable part for the development of any nation. And as I have told you, each and every country is getting its necessary information about the different types of upcoming events or the different type of present current situation via the news or via the different mass media, communication media, internet facility. So this exploration is possible only and only because of the space missions. So it has become an inevitable part, unavoidable part for the development of any nation. So it is a very, very important part of any developing technology. So this is where we come to know about the need and importance of different space missions. Now, who are the main who make these space missions a great success? The first helping hand in making these space missions very, very effective is artificial satellites. So let us see what these artificial satellites mean. You all know, when you speak about a natural satellite is nothing but an astronomical object orbiting around the earth or any other planet. And when you talk about the earth, the moon is the only natural satellite of the earth. Some other planets in the solar system, they have more than one natural satellites. But when you speak about earth, it is only the moon. So if this is the natural satellite, what do you mean by the one artificial? Artificial means something which is not natural, something which is made by man. So a man-made object revolving around the earth or any other planet in a fixed orbit is called an artificial satellite. So it can be a definition. What is an artificial satellite? A man-made object revolving around the earth or any other planet in a fixed orbit is called an artificial satellite. And the first artificial satellite was Sputnik. You can see its photo over here. Sputnik was the first artificial satellite which was sent to space by Soviet Union in the year 1957. So today more than 1,000 satellites are orbiting the earth. Today more than 1,000 satellites are orbiting the earth. These satellites, they work on solar energy, that is the energy which is trapped from the sun. So solar photovoltaic panels are attached on both the sides of the satellites like the wings of a bird. Then the instruments are installed in the satellites to receive and transmit the signals from and to the earth. This is something like the bat, which we have studied about the bat last year, how they transmit the electromagnetic signals and they travel. Similarly, instruments are installed in the artificial satellites to receive and transmit the signals from and to the Earth's surface. So this is about artificial satellite. You also know that satellites, they have various other types of instruments depending on their functions, what function they have to perform, what information they have to gather. Signals which are transmitted from the earth to the satellite and from the satellite to a mobile tower and mobile phone, they are also shown. These satellites, they are sent into the space to perform various functions. So does not mean that one satellite has only one function. Different satellites have to perform different functions and they have to gather different information and transmit it or give it to the Earth's surface. So now let us see the different satellites. INSAT. INSAT is a short form for Indian National Satellite. You should know all these names. GSAT, Geosynchronous Satellite. You should remember the full forms of all these satellites. It can be asked under objectives. IRNSS, Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System. IRS, Indian Remote Sensing Satellite. GSLV, Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle, and PSLV is Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. So all these short forms should be known by you. Our next topic is very important. We are going to study about the different types of satellites, the names of different satellites, their functions, and the names of the Indian satellite series and their launch vehicles. So let us start. The different types of satellites, their functions, and the names of Indian satellite series and their launch vehicles. So the first type of satellite is weather satellite. Weather satellite. Looking at the word, you come to know, you are well versed with its use. This is the satellite which tells you about the prevailing conditions, the present condition of the weather. The forecast satellite, it tells you whether today's day will be sunny or will there be any type of rain showers. So a very important function about it is study and prediction of the weather. This is the satellite which gives information to the IMD. In the last year 9th standard, in environmental management chapter, you have studied about IMD, Indian Meteorology Department. So this is the satellite which provides information about the weather to IMD. The Indian satellite series here is INSAT and GSAT, and launcher is GSLV. Just now we have studied about its full forms. GSLV means Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle. Next satellite I don't have to introduce to you. It is communication satellite. Whatever online lectures just now we are witnessing or we are coordinating with different persons in different parts of the country via different media like internet, mobile, that is the effect or the result of communication satellite, to establish communication between different locations in the world through use of specific waves. Again, the Indian satellite series here is INSAT and GSAT, launcher is GSLV. Next, broadcast satellite. The word itself tells you all of you love this satellite. It is related to telecasting of live and other types of television programs. Different types of television programs, movies or live cricket match, any type of live sports, live dance or singing competitions, all can be viewed by you because of the hard dedication or work of broadcast satellite. Name of Indian satellite series again is same, that is INSAT, and GSAT. Launcher is GSLV. So you can see these three satellites, they have the same Indian satellite series and their launch vehicles are also same. So while you are studying, you can study them together. Fourth one, related a little bit to geography, navigational satellite. To fix the location of any place on the Earth's surface in terms of its very precise latitude and longitude. Here, the name of Indian satellite series is IRNSS, that is Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, and launcher is different from these three satellites. Launcher is PSLV, that is Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. Fifth one is very near and dear to every nation, that is the military satellite, which decides or which is very useful in the security. It is related to the security of any country. It gives any nation what you can say an idea about the different types of things which are done in other parts of the country to collect information for the security aspects of any country. And the last one is again very important, that is Earth Observation Satellite. It helps in the study to get information about the different forests of the country, the conditions of the deserts, oceans, the conditions of polar ice on the Earth's surface. Very important is exploration and management of natural resources. You know which are our natural resources: water, petrol, diesel, coal. To explore, to find out what is their condition, present situation. You know natural resources day by day they are getting depleted, and so every nation is having a control over its use. So all this is possible because of the information which is gathered by the Earth Observation Satellite, and according to the present situation of this natural resources, you can manage or you can have a control over its use. Observation and guidance in case of natural calamities. You know, the many parts of the nation, they are affected due to different types of natural calamities. So this Earth Observation Satellite, it observes and it gives guidance to that people in that part about the upcoming situation of that flood or any calamity, and also to provide proper help. And this information is passed to every part of the country so that proper help is provided in that calamity affected part of the nation. Here the name of Indian satellite series is IRS. IRS is Indian Remote Sensing Satellite, and launcher is PSLV, that is Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. So it is a very important part of your study, the different types of satellites, that is weather satellite, communication satellite, broadcast satellite, navigational satellite, military satellite, and Earth Observation Satellite. You have to study this part of the chapter very thoroughly, all the names, all their functions, and the names of Indian satellite series and their launch vehicles very thoroughly. Any part can be asked in the exam. They can just ask a straightforward question, name any three types of satellites along with their function, or they can ask you in a tabular form. They can give you the function, you have to identify the type of satellite and their launch vehicles. So you have to be prepared with everything. So read and understand. Functions you can write in your own words, only logically and scientifically the function should be correct. So here we end with the first topic of our chapter. We have studied introduction to space missions. Then we have seen the need and importance of the space missions, how they are very important. Then we have studied what are artificial satellites. What do we mean by an artificial satellite? Their different types and functions. Now we are going to move to the next topic of our chapter, that is orbits of artificial satellites. What do you mean by orbits of artificial satellite? When we have studied the definition of artificial satellite, I had told you that it is a man-made object revolving around the Earth or any other planet in a fixed orbit. Now when you talk about a fixed orbit and it is an artificial satellite, who decides this orbit? It is decided by human beings. Now any satellite you cannot take and put in any orbit. So the function of the satellite, what function it has to perform. You cannot take a military satellite and put it into a very low orbit. So depending upon the function of the satellite, we have to decide the orbit, and this we are going to see in the next topic, orbits of artificial satellites. The functions of the satellite decides the height of the satellite's orbit from the Earth's surface, the nature of the orbit, whether the orbit should be circular or elliptical, and whether the orbit shall be parallel to the equator or making some angle with it. Means what function that artificial satellite you are expecting, whether you have to study about the polar regions, then your orbit which should be selected should be elliptical, or whether you have to that satellite has to perform the function for carrying the signals for telephone, television, then the satellite has to be raised to a greater height. So depending upon the function, the orbit is decided by human beings. To put the satellite in its proper orbit at a specific height above the Earth's surface, the satellite is taken to that height using a satellite launcher. Launch. What do you mean by the word launch? Launch means put. So this launcher, it takes the satellite to a proper height above the Earth's surface. Then the satellite is given a specific velocity known as critical velocity in a tangential direction to the orbit. Now the formula for this critical velocity, it can be derived by considering a satellite of mass m. Any artificial satellite you have to consider having mass m is revolving around the Earth in an orbit of height h with speed. Here they have taken critical velocity. Then as you have studied in the first chapter, that is the chapter on gravitation, you know when a satellite is revolving around the Earth, then which force will act on it? It will be the centripetal force, the center seeking force, that is mv square upon r will act on the satellite. Here all of you know what is m. M is the mass of the satellite. You know Vc, it is the critical velocity, and r here is the orbital radius. You can see here when you speak about the circle, a circle has radius. So here it is the orbital radius of the satellite from the center of the Earth. The centripetal force is provided by the gravity of the Earth. Who provides this centripetal force on the satellite? It is provided by the gravity of the Earth. And therefore, the centripetal force, this centripetal force will be nothing but it will be equal to the gravitational force between the Earth and the satellite. First, recollect the chapter on gravitation. So all these concepts you will be easily understanding. mvc square upon r plus h is equal to g capital M into small m upon r plus h the whole square. First chapter. This all terms I need not explain to you. Everything is explained in the first chapter. Just we will revise. What is this capital G? G is the gravitational constant, which is equal to 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. All of you know what is m, mass of the satellite. V is the critical velocity. Capital G just now we have seen. Capital M is mass of the Earth, which is 6 into 10 raised to 24 kg. Capital R is the radius of the Earth, 6.4 into 10 raised to 6 meter or 6400 kilometers. Small h is the height of the satellite from the surface of the Earth, that is above the Earth's surface, and r plus h is nothing but the radius of the orbit of the satellite. So if you take this first part, m and m on both the side will get cancelled off, and r plus h, here it is r plus h the whole square. So r plus h on the left hand side will get cancelled off. So what remains? Critical velocity the whole square is equal to g into m upon r plus h, or critical velocity is equal to square root of gm upon r plus h. So here from the formula of critical velocity, what you can see here, it can be seen that this critical velocity, it does not depend upon the mass of the satellite. Here you can see it is dependent on Gm. G and M both are constant. So as the height of the satellite's orbit from the Earth's surface, it increases, the critical velocity will go on decreasing, inversely proportional. So this is the derivation for critical velocity. So while you are writing this derivation, if this derivation is asked in the exam, then all these denominations, all this explanation you have to provide. Otherwise your derivation will not gain you full marks. It will have no meaning. So whenever you are writing any derivation, all the different what you can say symbols which you have used, you have to explain. You have to provide the details for that particular symbol. Here we end with the first part of our second topic, that is orbits of artificial satellites. In our next online session, we are going to study the three different types of orbits into which the satellites have to be placed. As I have told you in the beginning, depending upon the function, whether the satellites they are used to be in different applications like carrying the signals for telephones or television, then we have to use high Earth orbit. The three different types of orbits are high Earth orbit, medium Earth orbit and low Earth orbit. Or when we have to see whether the artificial satellites are to be used for the study about the polar regions, then we have to use the medium Earth orbit. So how you are deciding that orbit for a particular satellite, we are going to study in our next online session. So before attending your next online session, it's a humble request for all of you dear children, go through page number 138 in your textbook, read the different orbits, because not only for our session but when it comes about the exam, if you want to gain full marks in science and technology, reading, understanding the concepts and applying it in solving different questions or different numerical examples is very important. Only learning and writing it down as it is will not enable you to gain full marks. So reading is very important. Whenever I have explained any topic, go through the topic, understand the topic and fit it in your mind. So any type of question you will be able to answer at that particular moment. So thank you very much dear children. Read, complete your books and keep studying. Thank you.